Joining me now is Michael Weiner. You know what? U.S. prosecutors are launching a criminal investigation into the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell. Gold and silver hit more historic highs, and the war drums are beating. Is this one reason why so many countries are grabbing up gold, not to mention silver for AI, and the stock market today? They didn't really like the idea of the Fed chairman being investigated, possible prosecution. That got a reaction out of them. And of course, debanking, credit crisis, liquidity crisis, and more. Many experts. I'm watching so many financial shows right now. I mean, I always have, but I watch a lot of financial shows across the board. I watch a lot of financial shows, and many of their experts, they have a common theme: hard assets, debasement of the U.S. currency, the end of the debt-based system that we have today. It's a chorus of the same message. The dollar is dying. Joining me now is Michael Weiner. Michael, welcome back to the broadcast. Thank you for being with us. Look at that. You look like a Midwestern farmer with your flannel plaid shirt on.
Let me go get my pick and shovel, and I'll be ready to roll.
There you go. Wow.
But, it's cold out here today. So
oh yeah, whopping what, 50 degrees, 60 degrees in Arizona?
It's 50. I'm shivering here.
It's 50 and you're shivering. All right.
It's rough. It's rough.
Well, I understand. I understand. Well, you know, we had a pretty cold day in Carville. We hit 51 today. I think that was about our high, 51. All right, let's get to it. What do you make of the record high in gold and silver today before we get to the Fed chairman having a potential criminal investigation going on him? Gold and silver hits what, $85 on silver? Gold went to 4,600 an ounce?
Correct. Gold is over 4,600 an ounce. I told you about a month and a half ago, gold would be 4,800 by March. I still stand by that. What the biggest problem is that, first of all, Trump is fueling the fire with this ridiculousness with Powell. He's going to be gone in 4 months. And the world looks at the Federal Reserve as a stabilizing branch of our financial system. Now, we all know Jerome Powell is a blithering idiot, but at the end of the day, what's the advantage of doing something like this? It does nothing but destabilize the markets. Now, that doesn't take away from the fact that gold is money. We said last year that we're stepping into a new monetary system this year, and it's going to be tied into digital currencies, and gold is no longer a commodity. It's a financial instrument being embraced all around the world, and especially by our enemies, the Chinese and the Russians. So at the present time, people are sitting back and they're trying to say to themselves, what do I do? You go to your financial planner, and what do? Their whole life is all about making you money. So don't expect them to tell you to do the right thing, because they don't. I'm sitting here with people multiple times telling me they don't own stock, gold, they own ETFs. Well, congratulations. What are you accomplished? You're betting on the market, and you're paying that guy commissions on an ongoing basis. If you're going to own gold, own the real thing and not a piece of paper. You're gaining nothing. Countries do not buy ETFs. Central banks buy physical gold. That's what they're doing. So if you're going to be in the real market, be in the real market and protect yourself, because things are going to be very rough this year, and we're getting a little taste of it right now. The Federal Reserve is, I believe right now, what Trump has done today is going to make the Senate turn around and not want to confirm whoever he chooses.
Wow.
Watch and see when that comes up how hard it's going to be to get a confirmation on a new Federal Reserve Board chairman. Now, it's going to be a pain in the neck.
Why?
Really.
Why do you think they'll do that? Because
because they think what he's doing right now is wrong, and they think that it's a credibility crisis, and they don't. It's almost like slapping him back and almost not trusting him. I don't really see the value of what he did today. And as far as it is with them saying the White House says we had nothing to do with it, it's Pam Bondi. Well, congratulations, Pam. Another loss coming up, huh? You took care of Letitia James, you took care of James Comey, and you lost both of them. I'm tired of taking these people to task and losing. Okay, if you can't win, don't start it off. period. It gets it gets me upset because I wanted Comey to lose. I wanted Letitia James to go in jail. But what happened? They put him they knew it was a bad place to go in the first place. But to do this today just adds fuel to the gold market. And I think it's going to push it to new levels that might even bring it to 4,800 by February. It's just a very, very foolish move in a very tenuous marketplace. And I agree with what people said today, and some smart financial people, that in any well-rounded portfolio, you need tangible assets. Tangible assets, ladies and gentlemen, is not paper. It's physical. Understand the difference. When you go to your financial planner who just graduated from Men's Warehouse and now it's your financial planner, understand the fact that it is not paper.
Wait a minute. You're a financial planner that just graduated from Men's Warehouse. You mean he was selling suits at Men's Warehouse and now he's a financial planner?
You could become a financial planner. Take a test. 6 months later, you're out there telling people what to do.
I know financial planners that were so bad at their own finances they had to file bankruptcy.
Well, my grandfather used to say, if somebody's going to make you $1 million, make sure they got it in the first place. You know, the reality is I graduated. I had a law degree. I didn't just become a guy who just literally started selling gold one day. You have to have a background. They changed it all. That whole industry right now is all based on commissions. So, you know, the reality is you do business in physical market, you're paying one time. You do business in the paper market, you're paying forever. And one of the things when we talk about debanking and bail-in and things of that nature, that's all paper. When you have money in the bank and you're talking about debasement and bail-in, bail-in is when the bank can turn around and legitimately say, hey, guess what? You have $10 million in the bank, but we need you to be an investor in the bank. So we're going to convert that $10 million into some equity. And I'm sorry, we can't give you any money today. That's what happened in Cyprus and Greece. And that law exists here right now. And you don't protect yourself with more paper. The only way in this market to properly protect your assets is to create a tangible based part of your portfolio. And I've never said, Brandon, to empty out all your money and put it into gold, but not having a tangible asset base within your portfolio is financial suicide.
Right. Remember the FDIC guys? Remember those guys who talked about a bank bail-in, taking the people's money? Listen to this. Remember this?
Some people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? Like, my insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets. They just assume they're going to pay my claim. Right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do. That we want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system. They know the FDIC insurance is there. They know it works. They put their money in. They're going to get their money out. So there's a select crowd of people that are in the institutional side. And if they want to understand this, they're going to find a way to understand this. There's a bunch of law firms represented in this room. There's a bunch of people that charge them by the hour a lot of money to explain this all to them. And it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And they all have huge staffs. But I would be careful about the unintended consequences of starting to blast too much of this out in the general public.
Yeah. Michael, we've played this now for a couple of years.
How many people are listening? How many people in the financial world are listening? If you stack up all those poor people who stack up all those papers are nothing more than setting themselves up. You can't eat them, and they can sit back. You don't really control your paper assets. It's the other person. You call up this company. Sometime you get somebody in the Philippines. You can't even understand what they're saying. And especially if you're dealing in annuities, you're going to get somebody in India, Philippines. And after a while, you get so frustrated, you hang up. But if you own the idea of legitimately not balancing portfolios in today's world. You know, when they talk about bail-ins, Brandon, and all these things in the bank, people go, well, when did that happen? Like they think it happened 2 days ago. It happened 15 years ago. It's been going on under Obama. And nobody paid attention. Okay? So pay attention right now. You're being told that you're setting into one of the greatest years financially in history. What if it's not? What if it's not?
Yeah,
That's a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. All right, let's listen to what Jerome Powell himself had to say about the charges against him, the investigation, I should say, against him. Here we go.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned, in part, a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people.
All right, what do you make of this? I mean, you pretty much have already told us. I guess the better question would really be, isn't President Trump walking into a public relations controversy that he doesn't need right now with everything else that's going on? Why do this? Because it does look to a lot of people, and you and I are, and this audience are more immersed into this than the average person. But the average American is just going to think, well, President Trump isn't getting his way and he's just bullying this guy. We need the president to win people over for the midterms, not drive them away. And I don't think this is helpful. Is that what I heard you saying earlier?
Absolutely. This is just a waste of time and energy. The guy's leaving.
But
in
it also
4
fits a
months.
narrative that the media is trying to make of him. He's helping to write the narrative about himself that the media has put up.
Exactly. And you're absolutely right. And when you talk about the other, campaigns that they had against people legally, and listening to some legal experts that I have some respect for a lot today, there might be some basis to this, but it's such a hairline issue. The damage that you do, what do you get out of this whole thing? Are you really going to get Jerome Powell? Are you going to get people to say that he's wrong? Are you going to get motivation against him? All people are going to do is think you're bullying. I mean, and plus people like me are saying, stop bringing criminal charges. You can't win. I mean, we already saw 2 that got thrown out.
Right.
One against Letitia James, and had you or I done it, Brandon, we'd be in jail. But they brought it into a venue that they were going to lose.
Yeah.
The federal judge threw it out because he's a partisan, and it's the same thing for Comey. The federal judge, but they knew that when they made the case. Why even bring it if you know you're going to lose it? And then you have another case like this. That why bring it when it's really not accomplishing anything? What are you going to do here?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Let's move to this. Let's move to this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reveals up to 10% of U.S. budget stolen each year. Well, That's just the Treasury, I guess. Is he? Is that just the Treasury? Or no, the whole U.S. budget. I guess the whole U.S. budget. I think 10%. Are you kidding? That's low. It's way more than that. It's got to be way more than that.
This country is fraught with fraud. I mean, first of all, California, hello. I mean, and again,
Minnesota.
I agree with them. Minnesota is so pathetic. I mean, you got people there can't even spell learning. I mean, they're getting money. You literally, and I can only imagine Illinois. Boy, Illinois, my goodness. New York State, these people are just legitimately. I mean, I agree with Trump and everything that's going on with that fraud. I think these people somewhere they got to stop it, or is this just another matter of activity going nowhere? If we're going to do something about it, let's start locking some people up. They say they have locked 64 people up in Minnesota, which I commend this whole effort. This has got to stop. But this is why we're so upside down as a nation, because of how much money it's been stolen all the time. Pardon me.
Let's talk about liquidity, the overnight repo market. Tell me where we're at, because I'm hearing people say we got 4 or 5 more months. This system can't last but another 4 or 5 months. What are your thoughts?
The repo market is where the banks, for people who don't understand, is adjudication at the end of the day. You know, when monies are moved between banks, it just doesn't happen with a wand. It's actually called they have an adjudication at a certain time every night. And repos is how the banks move money between each other. And you had the federal government in December put $40 billion, the Federal Reserve threw into the banking system for shortfall of funds. The last time something like that happened was during COVID. And the time before that was in 2008 when we almost lost the banking market. This is another reason why people should be buying metal now. We have people calling up every day. Well, it's high today. Hello, that's the same phone call you made a month ago when it was 4,200. It was high today. It's high today. Get used to it. Gold is going to be 5,800 by year end. I was right last year, the year before. I'll be right this year, and you'll call me in January of next year saying gold is too high right now. It's not a matter of high. It's a matter of what else you have and how do you protect yourself. Stop looking at numbers and start looking at reality. I'm done.
Okay, so here's an article. Bessent told Trump that investigation of Fed chair creates a mess. Axios is reporting that tonight, so that's interesting in of itself. All right, we'll keep tracking all of this inflation and the decline of the dollar, liquidity crisis, bail-ins, and more with our buddy Michael Weiner. You can get a free, no-obligation packet of information. I don't give financial advice. I give financial opinion. My opinion is you should do your own homework. Starts with a packet of information that's absolutely free of charge by simply going to worldviewgold.com or calling 1-877-864-1072, 1-877-864-1072. Michael, hope you have a great week.
We're working right now with Logan on a crypto coin with Dolly on it. So it'll be a Dolly coin. Coin.
She's pretty excited about that. Is the Dolly cam working tonight, boys? Yeah. She's pretty excited to hear about that. Let me if we can show a picture of her, how excited she is.
We're actually going to make some like dog cookies too. Dolly coins as dog cookies. So
well, we need to raise some money to replace the Dolly cam because it's not working. Well, I'll just tell you, she's out. She's asleep. Her head is hanging off the bed, but she does have one of her toys near her. So she's in deep sleep right now.
Ready for
when she wakes up.
All righty.
Have a great night. Michael Weiner checking in, worldviewgold.com, worldviewgold.com. All right, guys, that's our broadcast for tonight. Great program, right? It started out pretty good, that's for sure, with Cayman in the studio. Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing, worldviewfoundation.com. Roll the music. Let's call it a night. Worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Thank you to all of you that's faithfully, consistently support us through our foundation. And if you're not, would you please consider doing so? Worldviewfoundation.com. And you'll find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail or use the phone number to make a contribution over the phone. Just leave a text or voicemail for Melissa. She'll get back to you. WorldviewFoundation.com. Thank you for that. All right, guys, we're ready to break in and go with whatever's going on in Israel and Iran. If we have to, we'll break in. So we'll continue monitoring that story through the night. And again, we're here for you when you need us 24/7. Thanks to you, WorldviewFoundation.com. May God save America and Israel and those poor freedom fighters in Iran. Take care.